After months of political ads, you're probably grateful for the break. But here come the post-election pollsters.
We have access to know everybody that cast a ballot from the Secretary of State every hour.
A fire near Pueblo has become one of the largest in state history, and it's not the only one burning across the state. Next viewers are helping support the heroes battling those fires. Discrimination isn't just for humans anymore. A new report questions whether AI pushes harmful misinformation to the LGBTQ community. And it's the 4th of July, so let's end the week with a non-pyrotechnic bang.
My good news is USA Soccer is the best.
I even have some good news tonight on Next. I'm a sucker for top 10 lists, but this is one I'd rather not be talking about. The Aspen Acres fire in southern Colorado continues to climb to one of the largest in state history. 11,000 people are evacuated in Pueblo and Custer counties. The Aspen Acres fire is now 74,000 acres, the 8th largest in state history. It grew 10,000 acres overnight, but when we talk about fire growth, it's when crews are able to map it from the air to update the previous estimate. Chris Bianchi's here, and you preach this on social media. I'll let you do it on TV right now, too, about not starting more flames.
Yeah, and it's, of course, just as a reminder, it's not my job to tell you what to do, but it's really my job to hopefully lend my expertise to give you advice about what to do and what not to do. And in this case, obviously with more than 160,000 acres burning statewide from fires, and a lot of these fires still have zero containment on them, please, please, please be smart and pay attention to the fire bans that are in place, particularly a lot of those stage 2 burn bans that cover most of the mountains and the metro area, which means no fireworks, no campfires. And red flag warning continues for southern Colorado. That's for tonight. We're going to see quite a bit of smoke through tonight and to tomorrow as well. But the good news is we will see some improvement tomorrow in the firefighting effort, as we'll see a little bit more in the way of relative humidity and lighter winds. So fingers crossed, Marshall, that we will see some improvement for firefighting efforts this weekend, but today and tonight in particular concerning fire danger.
Let's hope so. Thank you, Chris. The vote totals for the Republican nominee for governor keep changing, and that's perfectly normal. Tonight, 2,000 votes separate Victor Marks and Barb Kirkmeyer, and it will change again next week for multiple reasons, none of them because of election rigging. Mark's lead sits at 2,020 votes over Kirkmeyer. Since election night, election workers have been processing ballots that arrived on Election Day, and also ballots that need to be cured by voters. These are ballot envelopes that were not signed or had a signature that did not match what's on the record. Maybe it was a first-time voter who did not provide ID as required. Those voters can cure or fix the discrepancy, and if they do, election workers will open the envelopes and count the ballots, and the vote totals change. As of yesterday, there were 2,100 Republican ballots that could still be cured, and 7,000 unaffiliated ballots, but those could be either Republican or Democratic ballots. Overseas and military voters get extra time. Their ballots count if they arrive within 8 days of the election by Wednesday. Because of that, counties hold back a small batch of ballots from election night and count them next week. Why? To protect anonymity. If a county counted all votes right away and then added one lone military ballot later, anyone keeping track could perhaps figure out whose that was and who they voted for. So by holding back a batch, no single vote stands out. El Paso County, a Republican stronghold still, held back about 1,500 total ballots. That's from all affiliations. Boulder County told me they held back about 750 Republican ballots, so numbers will still change next week. In response to Maylot Quiros winning Tuesday's primary over 29-year Congresswoman Diana DeGette, 2 unaffiliated voters in Denver started the process to run in the November election. But it's an uphill battle, and those 2 potential candidates decided it was too much, too soon, and will not move forward. To run as an unaffiliated candidate for Congress, you need to have been unaffiliated since January 2nd. You can't just switch now and hope to run. You have to submit paperwork to the Secretary of State's office, and once approved, you have to collect 1,500 voter signatures in the Congressional district, and in this case, that would be Denver, and the deadline for that is Thursday. Unaffiliateds could have started this process in mid-May, but the 2 who inquired about it this week told me on the phone today they did so specifically because of Quiros's victory over DeGette. We're not naming the 2 people because they did not start collecting the signatures and were never officially candidates. Were Denver voters tired of Diana DeGette, or did they want Maylot Quiros? Were voters statewide against Michael Bennet for governor because they didn't want him at all, or because they just want him to go back to senator in Washington? There's a way to find this out, and pollster David Flaherty told me how.
Good morning, everyone.
At a Unity event, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Phil Weiser joked about one of his favorite lines from his campaign against Senator Michael Bennet.
People asked me about what was an unofficial slogan, Weiser for governor, Bennet for Senate. I could say we are fortunate that Michael Bennet is serving Colorado U.S. Senate.
Even Bennet got in on the laugh.
Weiser for governor, Bennet for Senate.
But how do they know voters who supported Weiser are still supportive of Bennet in the Senate?
We have access to know everybody that cast a ballot.
Pollster David Flaherty helped explain how polling firms get voter data from the Secretary of State's office and then reach out to sample some of the nearly 900,000 voters who cast a ballot in the Democratic primary for governor.
Was your vote for Phil Weiser a vote for him and his policies, or his campaign and his policies, or was it more of a vote against Michael Bennet and, you may say, the Democrats in Washington?
The same kind of questions can be asked of Congressional District 1 voters, the ones who just chose 29-year-old Milat Kiros over 15-term Congresswoman Diana DeGette.
We want a lot of open-endeds. Like, you don't want to come up with like a series of, was it this reason? You don't want to do that. You want to let them speak their mind.
And in a state where unaffiliateds are the largest voting bloc, the results of this primary may be encouraging for an unaffiliated to consider running in future November elections.
There's enough Democratic voters that are not thrilled with the direction of their own party, and they may give an independent candidate a look.
So if you get a call or text about your vote in the 2026 primary, you could help give the context to this week's results. Bennett's Senate seat is up for re-election in November 2028. The primary for his seat is now less than 2 years away. Women make up just a fraction of the country's firefighters. And this week, we lost 2 of them in a fire burning on the western slope. Based on estimates from the National Fire Protection Association, fewer than 1 in 10 firefighters are women. Emily Barker and Sydney Watson both died in the Snyder Fire on the Colorado-Utah border while working for a U.S. Forest Service crew last weekend. A third crew member, Nick Hutcherson, also died. 2 others were injured. Firefighters across the state are grieving the losses this week while recognizing the significance of having Emily Barker and Sydney Watson.
No, we didn't know them personally, but it's a terrible loss to their families. It's a terrible loss to the fire service, and we're just going to try to band together and do them proud to the best of our ability. We need women. I think that women bring a unique outlook, and a unique approach that others don't have. And the male counterparts, they recognize that, and we serve value just like everyone else.
Kira Jones is one of the few female fire chiefs in Colorado serving with the Chaffee County Fire Protection District, including Chief Jones. She says there are just 4 women on that team. This week, Next Viewers have stepped up big time to help the families of fallen wildland firefighters and to assist injured firefighters in their recovery. Here's Kyle with an update on this week's Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign.
Thanks for being with Next while I'm away. Colorado is exceptionally grateful to all of the wildland firefighters who are working around the clock to protect lives and property. This week's Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign is an opportunity to say thank you and also to support the families of the fallen firefighters in western Colorado and those firefighters injured in the Snyder Fire. The Wildland Firefighter Foundation works throughout the American West to take care of firefighters and their family when tragedy strikes. They help Colorado firefighters who go out of state and are injured fighting fires in other western states, and they take care of the families of the firefighters who come into Colorado and experience tragedy here, fighting fires, protecting lives and property. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to join me and a bunch of other Coloradans in supporting the Wildland Firefighter Foundation. More than 8,000 of you are signed up to support the Word of Thanks Fund with a monthly donation. You put in your information one time, pick a donation amount each month. It's automatically split among all the nonprofits that we feature. It's meant that recent micro-giving campaigns have started with almost $50,000 in donations. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
We have to do something to rein all this in right now because it's a runaway train.
New reports suggest AI is taking on one of humanity's worst characteristics, discrimination. Lawmakers want to intervene before it's too late. And we end the week the way we always do. Look at that flag flying there. It's your good news. That's next. When talking to an artificial intelligence robot, the responses you get are likely based on how it was programmed. A new report by GLAAD, an LGBTQ advocacy organization, says some bots are giving out harmful advice, including promoting conversion therapy. This is the kind of behavior some Colorado lawmakers feared when they tried regulating AI a few years ago. Julissa Irizarry has more.
Yeah, let me see.
In 2026, any answer is never too far away.
Of course.
But Samuel J. knows it's not always the right one.
It's spitting out results based on what it's seeing and what it's been trained on. And when those, the data that is been trained on is not, ethical data or data that we feel aligns with our morals and our values, you're going to begin to see that.
Jay is a communication studies expert at MSU Denver. He's also one of the latest readers of this report by GLAAD. The analysis found some AI systems are reinforcing LGBTQ biases, using harmful language, and even recommending conversion therapy in another instance.
The whole internet is becoming just a disaster. We have to do something to rein all this in right now because it's a runaway train.
Democratic State Representative Brianna Titone attempted to do that back in 2024. She co-sponsored SB 205, a law that required AI companies to take proactive steps to limit discrimination in their products. That law was replaced with a watered-down version in May, requiring companies that use AI to make big decisions like jobs, loans, and healthcare to allow the consumer to request a human review if they don't agree with the outcome.
The government is to protect the public good. And that is the role that we should be playing. That is the role that we should be doing in passing those laws, whether it's something that should be done at a federal level or not. We need to take it up.
Titone expects AI regulation to be a priority next legislative session.
Okay, yes.
Jay expects that too, in some capacity. He just hopes it's the right answer.
I just worry that regulation is going to be too narrow or too wide, and it may not, check all the boxes that we need. Right now, it's a pretty steep learning curve.
Now, Representative Titone says it's not just LGBTQ people seeing these issues. Multiple reports have also documented racial bias in AI, particularly against the Black community. Jay warns businesses using AI for hiring and other major decisions to be very careful, saying those AI biases could open them up to lawsuits. Marshall.
Do you know if Representative Titone has talked with likely Governor Phil Weiser about this?
Yeah, I asked her if she thought that likely Governor Phil Weiser would be stricter on AI, and she says she thinks he will. She doesn't know in what capacity, but she says he's already proven it by suing Meta before. Marshall?
Thank you, Julissa. Tonight's question comes from a viewer named David, who wants to know whether Colorado is celebrating America's 250th at President Trump's fair on the National Mall.
Hi, I'm David, and my next question is regarding the Great American State Fair currently being held in Washington, D.C. I understand some states have chosen not to participate. I don't know if Colorado's participating, and if so, what we're doing, and what the cost is. Thanks.
David, that is the kind of accountability we love here. Several states have refused to participate in the event on the National Mall, which is supposed to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence. But Colorado is not one of them to opt out. Colorado's display on the mall includes real Colorado pine trees, a ski lift, and a Red Rocks-inspired feature. That's a Ferris wheel, though. We checked, and the cost is $200,000. 75% of that is from private donations. $50,000 you helped pay for with your tax dollars. Chris Bianchi, you helped pay for that, too.
I suppose I did there, Marshall. I do pay my taxes, so pleased to announce that. Also pleased to tell you that there are some raindrops falling east of the airport right now. These are pretty low impact, but some delays out at the airport because of these gusty thunder showers to the east of Denver. We should stay dry in town this evening. Fort Collins, little thunder shower just to your north right now as well. This will clear up in the next hour or two. A little good news to pass along about the fire danger in southern Colorado. Of course, all the huge fires burning here, but those winds will lighten tomorrow. Relative humidity increases tomorrow as well. Now in Denver, we do have a few storms around tomorrow afternoon that could disrupt some of those barbecues tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. 30% chance for a storm, mainly before 7 o'clock. But if you're going to any of those outdoor activities tomorrow night, I would bring the rain jacket with you just in case. Storms around tomorrow, and then Sunday, Monday, it dries out, it warms up. Our next good chance for storms after tomorrow will come on Tuesday. 40% chance for storms, but it stays on the hot side with highs mostly in the mid-90s through next week. And a little bit of good news to pass along, though. Fire danger should be, notably better firefighting conditions in the high country for some of those big fires that continue to burn out of control in the high country. So fingers crossed firefighters can get a handle on some of those.
There's no shortage of Independence Day celebrations, and on a holiday weekend, there is no shortage of good news.
Good news, I'm headed tomorrow to Colorado National Speedway to run in the circle drags with my grandson.
We find some very patriotic answers to our favorite Friday question next. It was a beautiful day to get a jump start on the 4th of July weekend. It made finding people easier to answer our favorite question of the week. What's your good news?
My good news is my brother's birthday is today, and my niece's birthday is tomorrow, and 4th of July in Denver, celebrating 250 years is the best.
My good news is it's a beautiful day here in Denver, Colorado. The weather is perfect. It's about 90 degrees. We're riding our scooters around, and we're gonna have one or two.
My good news is my godly girlfriends came to visit me, and I love them so much. Hopefully they move to Denver.
I appreciate all the military that have made this country the greatest country on earth. I've given a lot of respect to them and what they've done for the country. So we just wanted to put that up. Good news, I'm headed tomorrow to Colorado National Speedway to run in the circle drags with my grandson for the America's 250th birthday. Looking forward to that.
My good news is I'm in Denver for the first time, and I'm enjoying myself. And tonight I will be experiencing the NEA Human and Civil Rights Dinner.
My good news is that Jesus is coming. So, you know, I'm trying to get my soul right.
I have some good news coming up next, and whatever this is about. There is something special about this pin right here. Besides growing up in Aurora watching this channel, today is exactly 9 years since I debuted on 9 News when I anchored Next for the first time and was given this gift from the Next team.
Marshall? Who's Marshall?
Marshall? Oh, he was that star investigative and political reporter over at Channel 7 for years.
The guy over there?
Oh no, that dude was he was Mitchell.
He's not an intern? Oh man, I made him go get my coffee like for months.
I'm still getting coffee for Steve Steger. Not much has changed except that, look at that tie clip I used to wear, just a little bar. Luckily, my wife got smart for me and gave me my signature glasses. Speaking of the glasses, going for a red, whitish, and blue theme, what we got going on there. I want to answer this text. Why is Marshall calling Weiser the likely next governor? I get it, but feel that saying that is presumptuous. At the same time, it would be better just to call him the current AG running for governor. Again, we don't want to insult people's intelligence. We know what the voter electorate looks like in Colorado. That's why we're saying likely governor, because it seems the winner of the Democratic gubernatorial primary is the person who will likely be governor come November. We'll see you next time.